Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Sunday. It's the weekly close. Let's talk about it. And we have some small time frame updates and got a few new coins to look at. So it'll be a good one. So we got a little bit of a pullback here, right? You can see you got some red. AVAX is down two and a quarter. XRP is down about 4%. Link's down 1%. But you have some things like VeChain's up one and a quarter. Dot is up almost 2%. Um, Injective Jupiter down about 2%, 2.5%. Theta's down about 3.5%. So, I mean, it's really a teeny tiny baby looking correction. It's really nothing. And honestly, it could get a lot worse. It could be even more severe than that. So, just make sure you're not too exposed and you're taking some profits off the table when you get these exuberant run-ups, even though we're still at the very beginning here, of a potential, right, alt season on the horizon. Nothing is ever for sure, but everything's lining up, and the environment seems like it's very, very possible and very likely that we should see it soon. The market is still trying to price in a Trump presidency, a pro crypto administration. Things. They're trying to price it in. Essentially, we're getting. So again, regulations. You got ETFs on the horizon, and I think there's just a lot of good things to look forward to when it comes to crypto. I mean, you got utility. And you look at the current Fed, the current financial system, it's degrading, it's no good, right? Look at all the inflation. People like to blame politicians, but at the end of the day, it's the system itself that is the problem because there's no checks and balances, there's no accountability, and there's no sound money, right? We need sound money, right? And the term sound money comes from way back in the day when you have gold, right? So they would take the gold coins and they would try to, you know, mix other metals into the coin, right? So it was fraud, essentially. And they would try to pay, using a gold coin that has fake metal in it, or fake gold. And if you take a real gold coin and you tap it on the counter, it makes a certain noise. If you take a coin that has gold and other alloys in it, it makes a different noise. So I believe that's where the term sound money comes from. And crypto is the same thing. So, uh, not all crypto is equal, but, um, sound money is the whole reason I'm in crypto and the reason why we should be looking at it as a longer term investment, because as the dollar goes down, not the DXY, but the dollar itself, crypto goes up. It's just the way it is. So, and that's not just crypto. I mean, just take anything, like take butter, someone shared a chart yesterday with orange juice. Orange juice just broke out, so it is what it is. But the reason crypto is the important one is because it's so easily fungible, transferable, cross border. Anyways, you guys know all that. But let's hang that up and let's look at some price action here. So I'm looking at Link, and I just don't think it's finished. I just don't. If you think about it, Link, like many other coins, they came down, they created a base, right? And that base took how long? Let's see, August, September, October, November. So about 4 months, all right? So you have a 4 month base here, three up, three down, right? And now we should be getting hopefully five up. So we had this first wave, and then we had this running flat here. So 1, 2. This seems like it should be 3, but it just doesn't seem like it's finished. It seems like, it's got more to go. So could it be finished? I mean, anything's possible, right? It could be 1 or A, B, C, right? In which case you would want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that could be your 3. But we'll talk a little bit more. But look, you see it, right? We had a run up, and then we had an A, B, C. We had a 3-way pullback, and then you see accumulation occurring, and now we're starting to break out. So 2 things can happen. Number 1, this could be very impulsive, which it looks so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we get up here 5, and then we start flagging out a little bit, and then we continue to break out. That's number 1. That would be the idea, the hope, right, for link holders. The other idea is the same thing, but it takes a little longer and it's more complex, right? So you have 3 down. This could come up 1, 2, 3, right? So after that, you would get another 3 back down, and that would become W, X, Y, or A, B, C, depending if this would be 5 or 3, and then go up, right? It could happen like this as well. This could come down, this could come up and break the top, then come down about 50%, then go up. That's a running flat, right? You could have a regular flat, you could have an expanded flat. How do you know which one's it going to be? Well, you don't really until, when you're looking at the small time frames, you'll get an idea. But we don't even know if it's just finished or if we need more. The way we know, this is the most important wave, because that's the retracement wave. The retracement wave is everything, because that is where all the risk is. That's where people take profit. That's where people get out. That's where people get in, So I look at it like this. You have point A, you have point B, and then you get up here in point C. So this you can trade. This you can trade. This, it's very hard to trade, because it could go either way, right? It's a triangle. It's basically, a 3, you're in 3 different areas. 2 of them are easily sort of identifiable. The third one, so it's like, well, how do you know, right? How do you know? Well, it's all about how it retraces. Does it come up impulsively, or does it come up like correctively, right? If we get like a 3-wave looking move, and then we get rejected in here and we start coming back down, then it's like, okay, well, does it flag out or does it impulse down? You know what I mean? So you have to look at the wave structure all in here to determine if this is going to come down or if this is going to break out. But overall, we're in an uptrend, right? Higher highs, higher lows. So you got to be looking for longs rather than shorts, right? So you could see on the 2-hour, look at that. We had a nice 3-wave pullback, and now we're starting to pump. So, that looks like it's going to come up and take the top. So if we get up here and then we start coming down, and then we kind of move back up, and then we get rejected, then it's going to look like, you need a little bit bigger of a pullback, which is fine. And it's actually probably better, right? The bigger, the longer the pullback, the better. The reason why is because the longer it takes, the more momentum gets to be reset, right? It's like if you're working out and you're doing a bench press, and you're not strength training, but you're stamina training, right? if you rest, you typically you want to rest, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds in between sets or something like that. Depends on the person, but if you're resting 5 minutes in between sets, you're going to have a lot more stamina pushing those, bench pressing. So it's the same thing with price. Price is alive, essentially. And just like animals, human beings, the more we run, the more we get tired. The more we rest, the more energy we have later on to, you know what I mean? So that's why XRP is my biggest asset, because XRP has been sleeping for 7 years. XRP has been sleeping longer than any other asset on the planet in terms of crypto, in terms of the top 10, top 20 even, right? I mean, you got XLM in there too, but I kind of look at them as a pair. You also got Litecoin's been, sleeping for a while, right? So, and then some of them just are dead, right? They're never going to come back. They might oscillate in the range for a while, but they're never going to really come back roaring unless they have good things going for it. Or unless inflation just gets so crazy that things become more value than they should be. So if we have a 3-wave pullback, we can run pretty nicely. But if we have a big a more complex 3-wave pullback, then you can run way more aggressively because it took more time. It reset the momentum, it reset the oscillator. So that's the difference, right? And some people, they buy it and they just like, okay, it pulls back, let's go, pull back, let's go, pull back. That's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Look how long we ran up here, and I like this correction. Boom, 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 right? We took our time here, right? And then we popped to the upside so we could come back down and retest it, right, before moving up. So there you go. And not just, you can say, well, who cares about Link? That's all of them. Like, let's look at XRP. Same, well, XRP is a little bit different, but essentially the same thing. I think you tested this wick here. It may or may not be finished. XRP really hasn't had any breaks except this here, right? You have these little pullbacks, but it seems like it could be finished. In which case, if it is, then we should expect a complex correction. So here's the thing. Number one, it's a little bit more challenging to read for XRP right now, but you got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So if this thing comes up 1, 2, 3, then I'm going to be looking for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it could be A, B, C. Lasting till maybe even into Thanksgiving, right? To the end of the month. And then continuing higher. So again, it's going to be about the retracement levels. That's always the challenging part. So we need to close above $1.50 through $1.60. So basically $1.50 to $1.60, that's the area that we need to get through in order to even think about continuing the run. So, but we have a weekly chart, right? And today's Sunday. I wouldn't expect anything crazy on Sundays. So we have the weekly chart here. Let me see if I got another chart. There we go. All right. We got the weekly chart. It looks fantastic. Okay. So we have 3 hours to go. Less time by the time you watch this video. So what is the goal? What is the number one goal for the weekly candle? It's very simple. And that is closing above the most important area. 2 of the most important areas, which is this area right here, which is at $1.30. So as long as we don't crash 10 cents, 11 cents, right? Actually, let me put this right there. There we go. So as long as we don't close below that line, now let's go back to the 1 hour. And then let's look over here. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. We actually back tested the line. We came down here and we back tested that order block. So that was the order block, the weekly order block, right? So as long as we don't close below it, we're golden. We broke out really of that retracement block. So so if you look at the wick, I'm going to put this line, I'm going to put it right at the wick. And if you come over here, you know, if we were to close above this, that's when things get really wild. So it looks like we're going to close above this very important area, which is $1.30. So that's going to basically between 130, like I've been saying, 130 and 160, that is the key area. That is basically the green flag in NASCAR, you know? So once we clear that, you know, the all-time high is pretty much imminent. So yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. We went straight up, right? 1, 2, straight up into that zone. And we had 5 waves. So that's where I'm a little bit conflicted here. Do we continue going up rather quickly, or do we might need a week? We might need 2 weeks. We might not even need a couple more than that, right? To actually kind of flag out in here and to sort of reset the momentum. Because, you know, you get tired, right? You know, you run up from 50 cents all the way down here from being asleep, right? And you run up here and you kind of get a little bit of, you need a little bit of a break and then continue higher. But the way things are moving right now, I'm not even close to saying that that's what's going to happen. So, and it really makes no sense to even assume that. So we have to just stick with it small time frames. So it's got to be one step at a time. So the first step I'm looking for is what happens in here, right? It's just like chain link, right? Do we have something more complex? Which I think we will. I think we will, because when you look at chain link, you have a 3-wave shape. When you look at XRP, you just have 1 wave down. So you need 1 wave up and you need another down. Probably that trend line right there would look like a good spot, or even the back test of this here, maybe like 120 something, 117 looks like a good spot. So here's the thing, we can, if we get the weekly candle to close above this block, this weekly order block, that doesn't mean we're gonna just fly up immediately, right? So for example, we could have, you know, this candle is gonna close here, let's say, and then the following candle could actually wick down and retest some of this candle, maybe even that wick there, 50%, right? And then kind of just sit there a little bit. And then the next weekly candle, you know, you start to move higher or something like that. It's hard to know, but I'm just kind of giving you ideas of what to think or what to expect. So anyways, that's XRP. Let's move on to THETA. Now THETA, I think, has a little bit more interesting, well, maybe not interesting, but it's definitely in a spot where you're sort of in between this and you're in between this. So you're also in a very interesting area, right? Right in between this and this. So, let's put a line. I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to put one there. And then I'm going to put another one right there. And then I'm going to zoom in. Let's go to the 2 hour. So those are our areas here. So technically we already back tested. We came up and we back tested, but we haven't back tested after hitting this, right? Coming up here and then coming down to fill it. But, you know, we basically did here. We came up, we hit it, right? We broke it, and then we came and retested it. So, and if you look closely, you can see we had accumulation on top of this key weekly order block. We ran up and we hit the bottom of the other order block, right? And then we came back down and we retested this accumulation. So I like it. You know, we have, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that looks like a pretty big dump. So it wouldn't surprise me to come up like this and then get something like this and then go up. Is that my main idea? It's not. Why? Because I don't know what it is until I figure what happens in this retracement. So what could I tell you? Well, I feel like we should have a little bit more upside. Where to? Well, let's pull the fibs. You know, we came down quite a bit. So we're only at the 236. So I'm looking at this thing getting back to 180, 192 relatively soon. Maybe over the next couple days or maybe even today, right? You know, we're not that far away. So maybe this comes up, maybe it pulls back a little bit, and then it works its way back to the retracement levels. That's what I'm looking for. And then from there, then we reevaluate, right? How does it look? So anyways, that's theta. Kind of want to keep it a little bit shorter today. ICP, same thing, right? You have 3 down, maybe we get 3 up, and then I get another 3 down, and then go. Or this 3 down was finished, this is a 1, this is a 2, and then we continue. So it really, again, comes down to what happens at the retracement levels. Bohm is in a very dangerous spot because, number one, well, let's see here. I don't want to say it's an ascending triangle. It could be looked at as a falling wedge. Why would I say dangerous? Well, because here's the thing. We came down, we had support, came back up, had support, came back up, and then we broke the support. So now what's happening here is, can we get through it? Right? Can we get through it? So we break below, and now we're coming up. If this test has resistance, and then we start going down, and then worse yet, breaking this low, retesting that as resistance, then I would, you know, it would be, I'm looking for a more serious correction. So how serious? Well, we talked about the trend line, right? There's a couple different ways you can draw it here, but essentially somewhere right there. So the price working its way back down, right? Support, maybe we need to come down to support here before really rampaging. I think this coin's going to do well. So we'll see. The reason I like it, like I said, is because, you know, you got an impulse, you're flagged out, and then you got a 1 2 1 2 1 2. So it's kind of like revving up a little bit, and it might take time. You know, it takes a little bit of time, but I think eventually we should escape that. So let's keep moving here. Zcash. So Zcash finally broke out of its little area here, testing the waters. Let's zoom in. yeah, it looks pretty unique. It's definitely unique. It definitely looks a lot different than other charts, which is, I like that because it tells me a different story, you know. So here's your resistance. We come down, and now we're sort of like cup. You know, you're trying to break through the resistance, and then boom, you break through it. You come down. Now you're retesting it. So I think, yeah, it's bullish, definitely. Um, the weekly chart is also bullish. You know, it's just kind of hard when you go up because you have all of these. Like every time you move up, resistance. You move up a little bit more resistance. You move up a little bit more resistance. So it's kind of one of those things where it just has to grind its way up. The only thing I don't like about it is we officially have a three-wave shape here. So, you know, if worst case scenario, we would need 3 down before going up. But I don't think so. I think this is a 1, this is a 2, and I think we're gearing up for that third. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Ethereum, we had a 3-way pullback. We had an accumulation. We broke out. Now we're right on the retracement levels. I wouldn't discount Ethereum. I wouldn't discount it. Yeah, so you're kind of just stuck, you know, right at the retracement levels. That's all I could say. So we have to see what happens in here. Do we break out? Or is this 3 down, this is 3 up, and then we get another 3 down and then break out? But the problem with that is because this is so big, I think it would take too long, and it doesn't seem like that would be the case. Zooming in, you can see we're pumping a little bit here after pulling back, right? So it's definitely an interesting shape, because you got 3, or let's see here. Well, this is 3 so far. So, but the way I look at this is a running flat. So let's just focus on this. You have an impulse, and then you have boom, boom, boom. And now look. You came down, and you built a little bit of a base here, and now you're breaking. I actually bought Ethereum, like, I don't know, before I made this video, so at least 30 minutes ago, simply because of that. So this could be a 1, and this could be a 2, and now we could be going up into a 3. And I also bought it because I feel like Ethereum's been a little bit lackluster compared to some of these other ones. So, not financial advice, but if you want to really get this bull run going, we need Ethereum to wake up. And the only way to wake it up is for people to buy it. So, now I'm not saying for you to buy it, but we should all do our part and help it get moving. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I bought a little bit. So just kind of holding it and seeing what happens. We are right now at right in the 702. Look at that. So we're right in between the 702 and the 618. Very important area. So let's see if we can break through it. All right, THETA finally broke out. You know, I've been talking about this one for a while, and I was kind of getting nervous. I was like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be talking about it anymore. But yeah, it just took its time. So we had a nice 1, ABC, 2, 1, 2. This looks like a third. 4 and 5 for a 3. We get a 4, and then hopefully we keep it moving. Weekly chart, that's what I want to look at. I know, oh yeah, look at that. We got less than 3 hours to go, and the big thing for Tia is to close above this order block, especially down these ones down here, which it looks like it's going to happen. So if we can do that, then we essentially escaped this range here, and now it sort of opens the door for continuation. So if we zoom in, we're really kind of close to the line, so we got 3 hours to go. I just really would like it to stay above that line. Is it going to do it? It's hard to say. I think it can. Because even if it wanted to come down, it would have to come down fast. So yeah, looks great. Let's keep it moving here. QNTs is not, look at this. So you basically had this flat here, and that's kind of what Ethereum looked like, right? So Ethereum kind of had that same running flat, and it was kind of like right here. So we broke out, we had a three-way pullback, we're back testing it. So let's see if we can get up here into the retracement levels. That's what I'm thinking, is for us to get back to the retracement levels. So I don't have to hit every single coin. I'm just hitting enough coins so that people have an idea of what to expect, right? Because they're basically very similar, right? You get a three-way pullback. Now you're going into the retracement levels. Let's see what happens, right? Render is definitely different. Wow, looks bullish because of that. It looks kind of like one of those lead-in waves. Oh yeah, look at that. I like it. I actually sold my render. I sold it. I can't remember where I sold it. I know the way I was looking at it was like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think I sold it right around here somewhere. Because my thinking was, okay, we should get an A, B, and a C, right? So, but a lot of times, and I'll give you an example, in Bitcoin, right? So you build a base, right? You shoot up, that first wave, you shoot up, and then you basically kind of bottleneck. It's like a reverse bull flag. It looks kind of bearish because it gives you bearish divergence, but what's happening is it's upward channels accumulation, and then bam, you take off. Now, it could work against you sometimes, like we saw with TIA, right? Where it kind of came down and then it moved down and then it went up, right? So it was like an expanded flat, right? But this one has a little bit better of a shape. Let's see here. Let me just type it in. Bitcoin. All right. Now, if you look, I don't even know. Did I even talk about Bitcoin yet? I don't think I did. So here you go. Here's a good example, right? You build your base, right? You break out, and then look at this. You channel like that. Boom, 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 and then you break out. And then that was a flat, and then we kept going, right? That's one example. There's other ones too. Like right here. You can't see it because it's a higher time frame, but you built the base, you broke out, and then you channeled in here, and then you continued. And there's even more of them. Like there's another one right here. You built your base, that first wave up, and then look at that. You channel, boom, 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 and then you continue, right? So here's render again. You see what I mean? Same kind of thing, right? You built your base, you broke out, and then here's your little channel in here, right? So you want to think, yeah, it's got to break out. But if it comes down, and then it's probably a flat. But the overall direction should be higher. All right? So let's take a look at Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look at a couple new coins I added to the list. So Bitcoin's a little bit scary because it's so high up there. It's basically at 100K. You know, we basically hit it, you know, and people who sold, you know, a lot of people probably sold because they think to themselves, you know, especially the people who bought Bitcoin at 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, or even a couple $100. You know, you ask any Bitcoiner, what's the magic number? They all say 100K, 100K, 100K. Remember that one dude, John McAfee, you know, that was I think he died, but that was a 100K thing too, he said. So it's that number. Now, I think they're going to push it past it so that they can get the headlines, right? The crypto community really needs Bitcoin to go beyond 100K so that every mainstream news article, social media, everything has the headline, Bitcoin 100K, Bitcoin 100K, you know. I think that's what they're trying to do here. Now, the timing of it is important. I don't think they were quite ready yet. If you look at the small time frames, I mean, we came very close, right? You know, we were like $400 away, even $300 away from hitting 100K, right? But they didn't want the headlines yet. So what is Bitcoin doing? Well, definitely in a correction. Let's take a look here. So, honestly, I haven't been looking at Bitcoin, but this looks like the end of the move. So we came up, we had a three-way pullback, and then bam, we hit it. And then it pulled back, but then it only went up in 3. I mean, you can kind of see 5, but here's a few ideas. We have boom, boom, and boom. So that's 3. Okay. And then I would imagine there's another 3 there. And then we would have 3 down. I think we have like, okay, so we have 3 down, then sort of like, oops, 3 down, boom, boom, boom. Okay, I like that. So 3, 3, and 3, or even 5. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. So if you're going to use the whole thing as a correction, right? But even if you just put that aside, right, and just look at the top, we still have sort of 3, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. So we have a 3-way move to the downside, right? So now here's the deal. Either we're going to come up in 3, and then we maybe get 5 down and then go. Maybe a larger AB, just like the first coin, Chainlink, just like everything else we looked at. It's going to be relatively the same. Now, if it's not finished, then we have, you know, like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, then we get 4, then we get 5. And then we go up for the 3, and then come down, and then go up later on, right? Or this could be 3, it could be finished, we could consolidate here, come up to the retracement levels, flag out, and then continue to break out. So how do we know which ones are going to be? We have to just keep monitoring the small time frames. The first thing I'm looking for is what happens down here. So key number 1, do we build a base? Key number 2, do we break out? Right? That's going to tell me things. if we keep moving down, then I'm going to look for that to retest this area here and then build a base and then retrace. So I'm kind of waiting to see. It's not clear yet. It just doesn't look completely finished yet. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, all that could be 3. This could be 4, and then we could get 5. So let's see how that plays. Hopefully it's not, because then that means we have to go down and get a bad weekly close, right? Hopefully we can kind of stay up here at least for the next 3 hours, to get that stronger weekly close for the altcoins, right? For Bitcoin, it doesn't matter because we're already in price discovery, right? So we look at the weekly chart. I mean, that thing looks insane. So, okay. So we are on a weekly 9. I didn't even know that. I wasn't paying. See, you got to pay attention to Bitcoin, get too focused on the altcoin. So that could be very serious, guys. Or maybe I did know that. I don't, I've been looking at so many charts, I just can't remember all of it, but that is very significant. We have a weekly 9 sell, guys. Look at the last time we had a weekly 9 sell. We corrected forever. Took forever. I'm not saying that that's going to happen here, but I'm thinking this is the top of the third. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we should get 5. So yeah, that 9's gonna close. So here's the thing: we either get a 1 to 4 candle correction and a continuation, or this has to come all the way down and retest the breakout level way down here, and then keep going up, which would destroy the altcoins, and it would destroy the sentiment. But maybe it's needed because things are too hot right now. Things are too euphoric, so it's possible, right? But it's probably not likely. I mean, it's not safe to say that yet, because I do see 5. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2 of the base, and then I have 1, 2 of the third, and then I have another 1, 2 of the third, and then I have the third. So maybe we get 4, and then we get 5, and then this whole thing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the third. And then we get 4, and then we get 5 later. So that's kind of what I would rather want to say. So, yeah, we're going to have to be on our toes here. We're going to have to be cautious. So, yeah, that's basically it. Let's see what this week brings. Is it going to be a bullish week again? Right? I mean, we are in extreme greed. So, things need to cool off from time to time. I would like to see an A, a B, and a C. I would like to see a consolidation and then a 1, 2, 1, 2. And that would give us a lot of time to sort of cool off and then break out. Probably by December. So, anyways, that's Bitcoin. Let's take a look at a couple new ones. I said it was going to be short and it wasn't. All right. So, where are the new ones that I added? And I gotta go through some of the comments. I know probably some of you guys have posted coins you want me to look at. I still gotta go through some of them. One of them was 1 inch. I don't know anything about it. I just went to CoinMarketCap. I scroll down and I just look at things that catch my eye, and then I look at the statistics, and then I look at the chart, and then, if I see something cool, I pick it. I like this because it's still cheap, and you had a massive impulse. You went all the way up to what? $7, and you're only at 38 cents. So if this thing just went up half of what it did, I mean, you're looking at a massive return. Now, I don't know. I'm not endorsing this coin. This is not financial advice, but if we get back to the all-time high, that's about 2,000%. The reason I like it is not because of that per se, but more so because we only have one and we have two, and then we have a bottom. We have a double bottom. We came down, boom, boom, boom. So I got the W look to it that I like. And we're still at the bottom. So there's a lot of room even for a retracement. So that's one of them. I don't own it. I haven't bought it, but I'm just looking at it right now. So we had an accumulation base. We came up. We got slammed in the resistance. I want to see what happens here. I'd like to see it flag out a little bit, and then I can buy, and then hopefully we can just keep pushing out of there. So that was one of them I thought pretty interesting. All right, another one is helium. From a percentage perspective, it's not as nice, but I like it because you had let's go to the weekly first. All right, so you didn't have a weekly on the 9, or a weekly 9, but we came up and look at this flag. I just like the flag. I mean, we're just flagging out nicely here. So if I took like a trend line here, and I don't know, I could do it from here. I could start it from here to here. I mean, ballpark, you're looking at $15, $16, but I think you can go higher than that. You're flagging out here, so I like that look, because this is what we want to see in regards to the retracement levels. Remember, we just talked about retracements, right? So the way this moved up was impulsive, and the way it reacted to the retracement levels, look at that, we had a 9 sell, perfect 9, right? The way it reacted was it didn't violently come down, but instead it flagged out nicely, and it had a shallow retrace, right? So it tells me hodlers are not giving this one up for a reason. So, and if we take a trend-based fib extension from the bottom, I don't own this one either. These are just ones that I'm currently looking at. I mean, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Our little flagpole got us right to the 618. That makes sense to me. So about 14, 15 bucks for the first profit taking area, I would imagine, and then you can go as high as even $30. So yeah, looks great. All right, let's keep moving. Beam, I don't know why, but I kind of gravitated towards this one. Let's go to the daily first, or even the 2-day here. Yeah, there's not really much on it. Except the 1-2s, right? You got a 1, 2, 1. It looks like a 2, and then you got a 1. It looks like another 2. To me, I like it because it's still kind of it's revving up, right? And then another reason too is look at that wick. That's a pretty ridiculous wick, and I like the shape of the running flat. So this thing could get going here, and we've had a pretty interesting correction over the last 24 hours. But when you look at Beam, it kind of didn't really correct too badly. so I'll keep an eye on it. I don't own this one either. I'm just kind of looking at them. Maybe I might pull the trigger, maybe I won't. Just not at the right moment. I think it's Arbitron, maybe that's what it is. Arbitron. Yeah, I like this one too because kind of like the other one we looked at, it's flagging out nicely. It hasn't completely broken out yet, right? So I think it's got some potential. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you got a 1, and it looks like you got a 3-wave too. Now here's the problem with these. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. This could be A, and then we could come up B, and then we have to come down for C, and then go later on, like maybe towards the end of maybe towards like spring of next year, or even summer, right? So, but as far as a retracement, I think it's got more room to go. WLD, this is another one here. I have never looked at it. Yeah, it's not really much there. You kind of got some accumulation here. You got a higher low. But I like it because I feel like it should have a retrace. And it should be a pretty, we're at 245. If we get a retrace, you're looking at 170 to 200%. Or even higher than that, just for a retrace, right? Which I believe should be on the horizon. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let's see if this can get at least a 3-wave move up here for a simple trade. I don't own that one either. H-bar. I haven't looked at H-bar in a little bit, but I'm not really interested in it because, you kind of got, you just went straight up. I just feel like, I don't know, man, like some of these things look like they need a correction. So I might have to skim down on a couple of my trades just to kind of wait and see. Now, some of them look like they got much more room to go. Some of them look like they're already, they need a little bit of a cool off. You can see resistance, and then you have this resistance here. So the best thing H-bar can do is simply have a 3-wave move like that. So, let's zoom in. But, it looks very bullish, and it looks like it could still, when you zoom in, it looks still bullish. The reason why is because it looks like you have a 1, 2. This looks like a 3. And then look at this. You have an A, B, C. You have a running flat for a 4. So I think we should go up and hit number 5. That's kind of what it seems like. So, yeah, let's see how that plays out. All right, Sheeb. So remember yesterday, or remember this whole time, right? We've been looking at this as 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 down, we have 3 up, right? And I said either we're going to flag out here and continue, or we're going to get violently rejected. So we got violently rejected. And then I said, well, if we do that, let's see if we can backtest. We did, but then we came back down, right? But here's the cool thing. It could be finished. The reason why is because I already got 3. 1, 2, 3, right? So 1, 2, so I got 3 down, 3 up, and then potentially 3 back down. Now it's kind of small, so it could actually do something like that, and then go. So 3, 3, 3, go. Or that was the 3, and that's all you needed. The way we're going to find out is when it comes up and retraces. So that's gonna be what we're looking for as we move up. Can we? Because it looks, yeah, look at that. you got a nice three-wave shape here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A. 1, 2, 3, B. And then you got, yeah, I would say 1, 2, 3. Maybe you get 4 and then 5. It could be finished, right, for a C and then go for a retrace at least. So you kind of got a little bit of an ascending triangle here. So yeah, I think this thing could break out and make its way into a retracement. Either that or this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Now, it's possible. Let's see. Did we break the low here? No, we didn't. But it's possible that it could be truncated. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. You have a truncation, which is very bullish, right? So, yeah, that's about it. ICP, you got boom, boom, and boom. You got a nice expanded flat. You got a beautiful impulse. You're making your way up to the retracement. Let's see if we can flag out a little bit and then continue. So, Aptos looks kind of cool. You got a massive flat. Look at that. Look at that's a huge. You got this move up in a massive flat. And now you got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, this thing can really fly. I don't own this one. I don't think it's, it's risky for sure. I was kind of looking at the, let's see, the monthly. I like the monthly, and then like if you look at the 2-month chart, look at that. We're breaking out. So you still got a month to go, but look, here's the 2 order blocks. We're actually above it. So, and you can see A, B, C. 1, 2, maybe we're going up for 3, right? So it brings me back to Brad Garlinghouse's statement, right? Remember he said that $5 trillion by the end of 2024. Or the end of 2024. So I at first I thought, yeah, it's totally possible. And then later on I thought, nah, there's no way. And now I'm thinking, yeah, maybe it is possible that we can hit somewhere around that area. So if we look at the weekly, and if we look at 5 trillion, that brings us up way up here, right around there. And then we have 2025. I don't know. I don't think so. I think that's a little bit too much. Wait. Whoa. If it was like in February, I could probably see it. Right there. So, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. What do you guys think? Do you think we're going to hit $5 trillion by the time, basically, here's the target right here. So, yeah, I guess it's possible if we kind of keep doing something like that. So, very possible. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. We got we're getting the weekly close, so it'll be interesting what next week will bring. Focus on the retracements, look at the small time frames, look at the wave structure, look at the reactions. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you can hit the like, subscribe, and drop a comment, let me know what you think. Are we going to hit 5 trillion or not? And I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.